literally see me on these meetings every 2 but it's well worth it.
Absolutely.
We'll get going right at 6:30. Okay. It's time now being 6:30. We're going to get things going on our March 4th, 2025 Wrentham Select Board meeting. In accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, the March 4th, 2025 public meeting of the Wrentham Select Board shall be conducted remotely via Zoom. The agenda posted on the town's website identifies how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. As a preliminary matter, this is Select Board Vice Chair Chris Gallo. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda and are here and present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Selectman Harrington.
Harrington here.
Selectwoman Rouse.
Rouse here.
Okay. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Interim Town Manager, Mike King.
Present.
Executive Assistant, Amanda Vazzapolo.
Present.
Okay. Welcome. How's everyone doing? We're going to get to the, we have a 6:35 hearing, continued public hearing for the water rates. Before we do that, I'm going to go to tab number 1 and ask Selectman Harrington to read the announcements.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair. Announcements for this evening's meeting. Motor vehicle excise taxes are due on March 6th, 2025. The annual town election will be held on April 7th, 2025 at the Delaney Elementary School. A voter registration will be held on March 28th, 2025 at the Fisk Library from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wrentham Recreation presents March Madness Pickleball on Monday nights at the Gibbons Gym. So sign up on the wrenthammass.myrec.com for sign and details.
Okay, good catch, Selectman Harrington. Does that conclude the announcement, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this time let's go. We still have a minute or two. Let's go to tab 2, approval of the minutes. The vice chair would entertain a motion to approve the February 18th, 2025 and February 25th, 2025 open session meeting minutes.
So moved.
There's a motion made by Selectwoman Rouse. You guys better speak up tonight. So it's a motion made by Selectwoman Rouse and a second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse?
Rouse, yes. Selectman
Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, 6:33. We got 2 minutes. We really don't have anything, Mike, that would take up 2 minutes time. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can probably take a moment until 6:35.
And what, just sit here in silence? Okay. It's difficult for me to do that.
Unless you want to approve the notice of Beano license.
Yeah, let's do that. Can we do that? What is that? That's tab 7. Okay. Has everyone had a chance to read this? Looks like there's an application here. There's an event at Lake Pearl on May 1st. It looks like it's benefiting the YMCA. And any of the board members have a question? I believe someone should be here, which is Amy Doyen might be with us. I see someone named Amy. While Amy is unmuting, board members, do you have any questions about this?
No, it's pretty standard, Mr. Vice Chair. I think we've done it in the past quite a few times.
Yep.
Yeah, no questions for me. Everything was completed.
Okay, great. So, Vice Chair, pending no more discussion, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to.
This is Amy. I am on.
Oh, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We read the application. We read all the supporting information. We were just going to take a vote. Do you have anything add before we do?
No, this is our third year doing it, so kind of the same thing. So, yeah, what's up?
All right. Well, thank you for that input. And we agree, third year doing it. It's been a success. So at this time, pending no further discussion, the vice chair would entertain a motion to approve the use of electronic signatures on the Beano license application for the Hockomock Area YMCA. As the board has no objections to the licenses being issued.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second,
Okay. Thank you. Selectwoman Rouse on the motion and Selectman Harrington on the second. We'll do, pending no further discussion, seeing none, let's do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, let's go back up to the continued public hearing, which is tab 3. So at this time, Vice Chair entertain a motion to open the public hearing for the March 4th, 2025 water rates.
As a point of order, Mr. Vice Chair, it's previously been open. It's been continued.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Point of order received. That's why you're here. Good job. So we will, what do I do? Open the continued?
It's an agenda item. You just continuing the discussion. You can take public comment. We have with us Ty and Bond tonight, who did the presentation previously. If you have any questions for them, and when you believe that adequate discussion has taken place, you can close the public hearing and then take a vote.
So it's already opened. I don't have to do anything.
Correct.
Fantastic. Best news of the evening. Okay. So at this time, I would like to ask my fellow board members if they've had an opportunity to read all of the communication, the presentation, have time to think about it since the last meeting. Do we have any further questions for the people that presented this to us at the last meeting? I'll start with Selectwoman Rouse.
No further questions for me.
And Selectman Harrington.
No, I just wanted to clarify in the last time we had discussion about whether the recommendation were we going to continue on with a 5-year or a 3-year. That question might be for Mike King.
Mike King, do you want to answer that?
Yes, the recommendation would be to do a 3-year. That's what the board has done in the past. We presented 5 years because we have that 5-year outlook, but I believe it makes sense to adopt the 3-year and then revisit.
Thank you for the clarification. No more questions, Mr. Vice Chair.
I would support that as well. I think that's the right thing to do. I think it's too many moving pieces to ask us to, to set rates for 5 years. I think the fiscally responsible thing to the voters would be set 3 years and then go from there. Before we do that, though, I did say at the last meeting that we would give the residents another opportunity to comment before we close the public hearing and vote on this. At this time, I'd like to offer that up. If any residents do want to speak, we ask that you unmute, raise your hand, state your name and address, limit it to 2 minutes about this topic. And Amanda or Mike will let us know when your time is up. So at this time, let's take a minute and ask if any of the residents on the call want to say anything or make any comments about the water rates. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any takers. I'll give it one more second, a few more seconds. Okay, seeing none, I would like to ask if Vice Chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing for review and discussion of the water rates.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Selectwoman Rouse. There's only 3 of us. Motion made by Selectwoman Rouse, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse.
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington.
Harrington, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Now we have 2 options. And I think what we said was, I think the will of the board is to set the rates effective. Would it be fiscal years 26 through 28, Mike?
Yes, that would be the motion.
Okay, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to option number 2 to set the water rates as presented effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028, fiscal years 2026 and through fiscal year 2028. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
The motion made was motion. Any further motion was by Selectman Rouse, seconded by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Okay. Okay. We can move on to the next item. We have 6:40. Oh boy. Okay. The time is now being 6:40. We're going to go to our second public hearing of the evening. This is regarding sweat funds. The vice chair would entertain a motion to open the public hearing for requests for sweat fund monies.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Harrington. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Selectwoman Rouse. Thank you. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Next, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to waive the reading of the public hearing notice.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Harrington,
I'll second that.
second by Selectwoman Rouse. Any further discussion? Being none, I'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. We waive the reading of the public hearing notice. And now, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for April 1st to April 1st, 2025 at 6:40.
So moved.
I'll second that.
The motion made by Selectman Harrington, seconded by Selectwoman Rouse. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes. What's the date of it for the continuance?
April Fool's Day, I believe, April 1st.
Yes.
Yes.
And Bill, in case you're wondering before we vote on this, so, historically, we would have a joint meeting with the Sweat Fund group, and, we would ask questions, they would ask questions. We were trying to do more of a streamlined process where they could kind of take the lead and ask all the questions, give us their recommendations, have the applicants there on April 1st so that we then get the opinion of the Sweat Committee, and then we could further ask questions as needed before we vote.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so there was a motion and a second, so let's vote to continue the public hearing on April Fool's Day, April 1st, 2025 at 6:40. And I'll ask Selectwoman Rouse
Rouse, yes.
is the vote, sorry. And Selectman Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, are we done our public hearings for the evening?
Yes.
Mr. King, you agree? Yep. We made it through that unscathed?
Yes.
Okay.
Record time.
Yeah. Those are tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. Joe did such a good job with those. I hate those. I'm not gonna lie to you, but they're very important and we have to do them. So with that being said, it looks like we're down to new business. And the first thing we're gonna do is see about changing the interim status to actual town manager status. So let's go to that tab 5 contract. I would like, before we get to the vote and discussion, I would ask Selectman Harrington to read into the record letter from Selectman Anderson, who was unable to be here this evening.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair. Email from Selectman Anderson to Vice Chair Gallo, Selectman Rouse, and Selectman Harrington, CC'd to Executive Assistant Amanda Vassapolo, subject Town Manager Mike King's contract. The date was Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 at 8:10 p.m. Dear fellow board members, I have reviewed Town Manager Mike King's contract on February 18th, 2025 and concur with the negotiated items stemming from the contract. I will be out of state at our next meeting on March 4th, 2025. However, I give my full support to the passage of Mike King's contract. I vote yes. Respectfully, James Anderson, Select Board Member.
With the enthusiastic yes, we would mind. So thank you, Selectman Anderson, for that. The board has had ample time now to review the interim town manager's contract. I would open it up to my fellow board members to see if there's any further discussion before we see if Mike King has anything else to add before we go take this for a vote. So I'll start with Selectwoman Rouse.
I have no further questions or comments related to the contract.
Okay. Selectman Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I just want to thank the committee for the effort that they put into making the decision, and I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Okay. Interim Town Manager Mike King, do you have anything to add before we go to a vote?
No, I just would like to say briefly that I appreciate the working collaboratively with the select board in negotiating this contract. And I would look forward to officially dropping the interim tag.
Yeah, us too. It's difficult for us to remember that. Okay, so at this time, the vice chair would entertain a motion to approve the 3-year employment contract with the town manager dated March 4th, 2025 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Selectwoman Rouse, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Congratulations, town manager Mike King. Just want to say what a pleasure it's been working with you during this process. The townspeople are very lucky to have you. This board's lucky to have you. So welcome aboard in the official capacity as town manager, and let's get to work. All right.
And thank you all for the support, and I appreciate the confidence.
Okay. That's done. I'm gonna have to update my notes. Let's now go to election warrant, tab number 6. Okay, so now we're going to vote to sign the election warrant for the April 7th, 2025 annual town election. We have in our packets the actual warrant, and I have a note here that the document requires wet signatures. Please come to town hall at your earliest convenience. Does anyone have any questions, my fellow board members, any questions or comments about the annual town election warrant before we go ahead and vote to sign it?
No questions, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair.
No questions.
Okay, great. With that being said, I have no further questions myself. We all read it. We're good with it. So at this time, the vice chair would entertain a motion to sign the April 7th, 2025 annual town election warrant, noting that wet signatures will be required.
So moved.
I'll second that.
The motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectwoman Rouse. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Gallo, Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. We will be in at our earliest convenience. When do we need to come in by, Mike or Amanda?
Well, I'll note there's several documents that require wet signatures. One of them being my contract that you just approved, the election warrant, and then there's also going to be coming up with a vote, documents related to the purchase of the 20 Hancock Street. Those also require wet signatures. So preferably at your convenience this week, Wednesday or Thursday, people could stop in.
Do you mind, Amanda, if you don't mind, do you mind just sending out a reminder email after the meeting, just because I know myself, my schedule's a little hectic and I'm having trouble remembering to do anything. Thank you. She gave me the thumbs up. Love it. Okay. Moving forward here, we're now gonna talk about, great segue, Town Manager Mike King. We're now gonna get into tab 8 and talk about the purchase and sale agreement for 20 Hancock Street that also requires wet signatures. So as this board's discussed and supported, we now have to vote to sign the certificate of vote for the 20 Hancock purchase and sale. Is there any further discussion from the board members? before I know we beat this thing to a dead, whatever the expression is, pulp, but want to give everyone an opportunity to ask any further questions or comments before we go ahead and vote on this. Selectwoman Rouse,
No further questions or comments.
Selectman Harrington.
I have nothing.
Okay, great. So at this time, pursuant to Article 1, okay, so let me back up. I apologize. At this time, the vice chair would entertain a motion pursuant to Article 1 of the December 16th, 2024 Wrentham Special Town Meeting. I hereby move the select board purchase the property located at 20 Hancock Street, being the land described in the deed recorded at the Norfolk South Registry of Deeds in Book 42177, page 600, for the sum of $1,170,000.00 from John Hasenjager, to be held under care, custody, and control of the select board, to be used for a new well for the town water system, and further to authorize the vice chair, Christopher Gallo, to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the acquisition of said property. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that.
A motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectwoman Rouse. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Rouse, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Again, wet signatures needed. Okay, we already did the Beano, P&S Hancock we did. Looks like we're on tab number 9 here, which is our weekly update on MBTA communities. Mr. King, before I turn it over to the board, do you have any updates for us? I know we also have an executive session with Jay Tollerman, but do we have any, any updates for the townspeople and the board before we go into executive session?
Yes, I do. So we've been monitoring the news post the state auditor's determination of an unfunded mandate relative to the MBTA Communities Act. And it has come to our attention that the towns of Marshfield and Middleborough have recently filed lawsuits in Superior Court relative to the MBTA Communities Act compliance. Just for reference, the town of Marshfield's court filing focuses on the state auditor's unfunded mandate determination. It seeks to restrain the state from withholding grant funds and to exempt the town from compliance with the MBTA Communities Act. Middleborough's lawsuit differs and does not solely focus on the state auditor's unfunded mandate determination. It asserts that the town of Middleborough is in compliance with the MBTA Communities Act because there has already been considerable development of affordable housing in that community. Middleborough did not file an action plan for interim compliance and is also seeking to have revoked grant funds restored. From my conversations with other town managers, municipalities are reviewing the state auditor's unfunded mandate determination, and many will be meeting in the near future to discuss possible next steps and options.
And while we're talking about the unfunded mandate determination, it's been brought to the board's attention. There's been, some emails going around, I think, from other boards and committees, and some press related issues or coverage, I should say, regarding the auditor's unfunded mandate determination, and then specifically relating to an interview that she did, I believe was on like WGBH or something like that, where it looked like she was pivoting slightly, saying that the unfunded mandate required a funding mechanism, but that funding mechanism was only for the zoning, not the actual difference in fiscal impact that the communities would be forced or would incur. Let's say that. So Mike, I know Jay was pretty clear that was not his interpretation of the letter, and the letter specifically said, this is for the actual, impacts, not just the zoning. That this thing's an unfunded mandate. That means there's a funding mechanism needed. That means the state has to kick in, the deficit for the whole project, infrastructure, schools, police, fire, all that, roads, all that stuff. So can you, without speaking for Jay, is it still our town council's opinion that nothing's changed from his perspective or our perspective?
Yeah, that's correct. So I'll just say that the recent comments by the state auditor were that in this post determination letter opinion, that the unfunded mandate may only apply to technical assistance relative to developing the zoning. But I'll point out that at the last meeting, when Attorney Tallerman was reviewing the unfunded mandate determination letter, I believe it was Selectman Anderson who directly asked, what about the school and education impacts? And Attorney Tallerman believed that those would be factored in and it wouldn't be limited to only the technical assistance. So I believe what you just relayed is correct.
So it's again, this just makes it more confusing for the voters, right? Because we get this unfunded mandate determination letter, then we get this interview, which seems to walk back the unfunded mandate determination letter. So we're, and listen, I don't know what's really going on, right? Could that have been someone, and again, I'm not saying this is the case, and I'm not speaking for my other board members. This is just my own conjecture at this point, but could the WGBH interview been a result of perhaps lots of pressure that the auditor received from the governor and other members of the legislature about the unfunded mandate determination? Because if it were me and I was the auditor and there was this much confusion about it, if it was only for the technical aspects, I would have immediately reissued a letter certifying that. And to the best of my knowledge, Mike, we haven't received any such letter, correct?
That is correct. At this point, we can only go off the initial letter because that's what we have in our possession.
Gotcha. Okay, I've said enough at this point. Let's ask Selectwoman Rouse and Selectman Anderson. Sorry, Bill. Selectman Harrington, if they have anything. I'll start with Selectman Harrington this time.
Nothing to add at this point.
Okay, thank you. Selectwoman Rouse?
I think just like all of us, we're watching towns and hearing from them that they're going to be making decisions in the upcoming weeks in which way they're going to go. So we'll see how things unfold.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to say the least. Are there any other updates that we want to talk about before we move on to the meeting regarding MBTA communities? Anyone? Nope. Okay. I'm going to move on then. Let's go to tab number 10. Tab number 10 is just a public comment opportunity. Anyone who's on the meeting at this time, we want to give you an opportunity, any members of the public, to raise your hand, unmute yourselves, and make any public comments that you feel that you want to say. We remind the board members that there's no deliberation during public comment. We can't say like, hey, Selectman Harrington, what did you think of that? Or Selectwoman Russ, what did you think of that? There's no deliberation. We listen to the comment. I say thank you. And then we move on to the next person. If we want to discuss a comment, we can then put it on a future agenda at another meeting, and then we can deliberate that way. Correct, Mr. King? Is that a fair?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree. It would be addressed at a future meeting as an agenda item.
As an agenda item. Okay, so we will ask you to state your name and address, limited to 2 minutes, and we'll let you know when you're up. So at this point, we welcome any of the millions of people attending this meeting to raise your hand, unmute, and make a public comment as you see fit. Jeopardy. Okay. Mr. Brooks, can you unmute yourself? If you have a screen, can you put your screen on so we can see your face? And then state your name and address for the record, and then feel free. You get 2 minutes, sir.
Sure. So my name, Jay Brooks, address 20 Wisteria Way. I was just wondering if you can share, it's not as much a public comment, but share kind of what the plan is or what you think the plan is as far as readdressing the sites that might be considered for the proposed zoning.
Okay. Anything else from the public comment, Mr. Brooks?
No, sir.
Mike, I don't think I can address that, correct? In this setting?
Yeah, I mean, right now the public comment is just to listen and not necessarily respond, but bring it up in future agenda items. I will personally say that, you know, that might be a good answer to check from the planning board.
Can I just follow up then?
Sure, you still have time, 2 minutes. Mr.
Sure,
Brooks.
sure. So I'll just say I appreciate the planning boards or the select board kind of considering what the options are, given what the vote is for the town or what the vote was for the town. So I appreciate you looking into all the options that you're currently looking at, to include pushing back perhaps on some of the decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Appreciate your support and thanks for being with us tonight. And Mike, yeah, I think your comment was right on, and as needed, you know, without deliberating, I know that that's potentially a topic that is being considered. So I'll just say that. Is there anyone else during the public comment period that would like to say anything? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Give it another minute. Okay. Public comment is now over. Let's go into Mike, do you want to do the interim town manager report now and then executive session?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. Floor is yours. Actually, hold on. The town manager report, not interim. Let's wipe that from the agenda.
It sounds so good.
Town manager report. The floor is yours, Town Manager King.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So a couple updates. The Community Preservation Committee met last week and determined that the proposed Sweat Park electrical lighting project is eligible for CPA funding. The Recreation Commission has voted to support the project and has additionally sent a letter to the Community Preservation Committee indicating as such. At the March 11th Community Preservation Committee meeting, Assistant Town Manager Greg Enos and myself will be presenting the project for approval. If the CPC votes in favor to move the project forward, then it can appear on the warrant for the spring town meeting. Also, as an additional update for the Sweat Park renovation project, the granite steps were delivered yesterday for contractor installation. Work will be starting back up in the next week. The renovation is currently projected to be completed in May. An update on town health insurance. As previously discussed, the Maya health insurance renewal came in at 17%. The town is currently in the process of requesting proposals from other health insurance providers. All options are currently being investigated. And lastly, the DPW Building Committee has met and ranked design proposals. The highest ranked designer was Helene Carl Architects. Their fee proposal has been received and is currently being reviewed and negotiated. And that concludes my town manager report, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Ed, does any of the board members have anything to add or ask the town manager relating to his town manager report? No?
No questions.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna, looks like we're gonna head into executive session, and then we're gonna come back out of executive session just to exit the meeting?
That is correct.
Okay, so at this time, the vice chair would entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, subsection 3, to discuss potential litigation regarding remedies related to determination of Massachusetts Division of Local Mandates relating to GLC 40A, subsection 3A. If discussing the matter in open session, do I have to read that?
Yes, I would read the full motion.
If discussing the matter in open session will have a detrimental effect on the town's litigating position. So I need a motion, correct?
So moved.
Second, motion made by Selectwoman Rouse, seconded by Selectman Harrington. Roll call vote, Selectwoman Rouse.
Ross, yes.
Selectman Harrington.
Harrington, yes.
Friscallo, yes. Motion carries 3-0. We are now in executive session. We got to boot off everyone who's not supposed to be here. Thank you for coming. Cable 8.